This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to a special Saturday night bonus edition of Wrestling Insider's Current Events, where we discuss the results, news, and views from the Wednesday, November 4th, 2020 editions of AEW Dynamite from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, as well as WWE NXT from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. As you can tell, this program is a couple of days late, as we had quite the time with recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush, who kicked off the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Cyber Toy Drive this past Thursday night. Yesterday was a travel day where Mr. Sacco himself had to take Leo to southwestern Connecticut and now claims he may have to go to the doctor for a sore throat. So his poor throat is unable to share his thoughts on the world of professional wrestling. Our partner in crime, our old MWF executive Dave Carter, has a long-standing Saturday hobby, so he's MIA as well. So that just leaves yours truly with the work ethic I have. I didn't want to let you down, even if 10 people listen to this episode where it's so late. But as they say in our industry, on with the show. Before I begin, professional wrestling, it isn't for everybody. Beyond the physical abuse that goes along with in-ring competition, it certainly is mentally and time taxing. It takes up a lot of your time if you're going to do it right. I was blessed to be broken into our sport by the late, great Boston bad boy Tony Rumble. He was the promoter of the Marquee Century Wrestling Alliance in NWA New England in the 90s. He gave me a chance to work with, observe, and learn from professionals, starting at 13 years of age, a freshman in high school. I was even luckier to learn the business side of professional wrestling from Ed Cohen of the then WWF, WWE. Ed was in charge of the live events department, which at one point in the late 80s oversaw over 1,000 live events annually. Break down how many live events that was each and every night. Ed and Howard Finkel were the first two employees that Vince and Linda McMahon hired when they took over the company from Vince McMahon Sr. After that WWE stint, we created the Millennium Wrestling Federation and our parent company, Boston Wrestling Sports, with so much input from so many people, including the late, great Paul Bearer, who has a WWE Network special of his own this Sunday night, November the 8th. I feel I owe it to those people to try and do what we do the right way, even if it isn't always the easiest or the most convenient way. And that's that. That's not a knock on anybody. That's just how I see things. That's one man's opinion. That's my point of view. Like my good friend Bob Boisel, who just gave me the big wave over there. A superstar if I've ever met one. A man that produces certainly not professional wrestling content, but content for the Melrosians around Melrose to enjoy from A to Z. On the flip side, I do not think that the AEW Full Gear Watch-Along is going to happen tonight. Anytime we try and do a watch-along, there are a ton of technical issues where it's kind of certainly new to us, as we've only been doing it the past couple of months now, and I don't think that either Matt or Dave will be here. I apologize for any disappointment on that end. We have a bonus watch-along already taped for Thanksgiving Eve that I'm looking forward to much more than AEW Full Gear. Nothing against the show. I really did want to do the Full Gear watch-along. I just don't think you'd want to look at an empty screen without Matt and Dave here, and I hope that'll more than make up for it. The times, they are a change, and literally as I'm taping this show, Yahoo just announced that Joe Biden passed the threshold to become president of the United States. Congratulations to the Biden camp. I'm sure that about a little more than 50% of the country is happy right now, and I'm sure that 50% of the country isn't happy right now. The Trump supporters, certainly everyone that put their time and efforts in for the Trump campaign, are awfully disappointed. I have to say that without saying who we wanted to win, in our predictions, myself, John Cena Sr., Tony Atlas, and Marty Jannetty all felt that Trump would win. So certainly an interesting outcome, and we can all hope that The world will continue to evolve and become a better place for us here in the United States. We can try and find a way to eliminate coronavirus and try and get back to life and business as usual. Will that happen? I have no idea. And with that said, as I mentioned, times they are a-changing. All of our weekly talk shows are going to start changing, premiering at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time going forward. It's easier that way as we have staggered times due to the John Cena Senior Program. Let me run down the weekly list for you under normal circumstances going forward. Sunday and Mondays at 10 a.m., Wrestling Insider flashbacks for your viewing enjoyment. Keep that wrestling history flowing through your brains. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., we'll have a WWE Raw review podcast style. Tuesday at 10 p.m., Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m., after WWE NXT and AEW go off the air, I'll be joined by the soon-to-be 26-year-old piece of gold, Leo Rush, for Wrestling Insider's Rush Hour, a limited series we're anxious to see fan reaction to. How long we go with Rush Hour remains to be seen. We've taped episodes into the month of December. Tuesday night at 9 p.m., it's AEW and WWE NXT review podcast style. Thursdays at 10 p.m. after that review, you get Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty as Marty Jannetty continues his no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll trip through the world of professional wrestling in the 80s and 90s. Friday nights at 10 p.m. when the lights at the Thunderdome in Orlando go down, John Cena Sr.'s Dome is just heating up on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays, where the former WWE Raw main eventer gives his unique perspective on the world of professional wrestling. Then Saturdays at 10 a.m., we have another Wrestling Insiders flashback for you, followed by a review of SmackDown the previous night at 9 p.m. And again, those are just the regular programs. As always, we'll have live and pre-taped watch-alongs, bonus editions of Wrestling Insiders, such as Vicky Guerrero, who will be joining us Survivor Series Sunday, all of the live guests we have lined up for the Paul Bearer Toy Drive, and more. The record-setting growth for this channel that we've seen in September and November is thanks to you, our great fans. In many cases, not even fans but friends. And in even some cases, not even friends, but extended family members. So from our family to yours, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for sharing links to our programs on your social media and telling your friends about it. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing to the free channel with over 2,000 videos for your enjoyment. And with that said, why don't we take a look at first AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday night on the birthday of Linda Marotti. Unbelievable, just a few days after Halloween. But I tell you this, that witch's broom never gets put away, but that's a different story for a different time. Opened up with MJF and Wardlow in the inner circle. MJF made Ortiz tap to a Fujiwara armbar. Matt Hardy was under a mask. He tossed a chair at Sammy Guevara. Wardlow. I got Warlord on the brain since he's coming to MWF Studios in December. How about Wardlow? He looked big, bad. He is the guy that WWE should have their sights set on when his contract expires, to bring him to the WWE Performance Center to fine-tune him. That's a guy that has that type of potential. And if he's moldable, someone that I could see as a WrestleMania main eventer. MJF attacked Jericho at the broadcast booth after it was over, and then the announcers went into selling matches later in the show as if the attack almost didn't even happen. Tony Shivani with a nice, short, sweet, and to-the-point interview with Kenny Omega at a rental home. It looks like Kenny is staying, I guess, down in Florida during these COVID times, which makes perfect sense. It's a lot less travel if you're already in Florida than having to travel back and forth bi-weekly, which is, I believe, how AEW handles most of their tapings. Kenny did a good job in setting the plate for his pay-per-view matchup tonight at Full Gear. Miro defeated Trent. Should have been much, much quicker. Way too many run-ins to water down what should have been a simple mission to get Miro over as a monster quick and decisively. Should have been a simple squash match. Trent eventually tapped out to the camel clutch. Chuck Taylor and Kip Sabian came back and forth, out from the locker room, into the locker room. They tossed the faces like garbage. I tell you, Miro started cutting a promo on the floor, and then of all people, Orange Cassidy ran out and dived off the top rope onto them, which was unreal to see Miro sell for Orange Cassidy. I mean, even Kip Sabian, I think, is someone that has tremendous heel upside. I don't know what you think about that, but the execution of Miro since his debut has not been very good. I won't go as far as to say poor, as there's been a couple of glimmers of hope, but as far as week to week, just it's mind-numbing that you'd invest what I'm sure is good money in the former Rusev and to use him in this way, even debuting him in a Mickey Mouse shirt and, now going tit for tat with Trent, selling for Orange Cassidy. It's too much for my liking of pro wrestling. Jim Ross had a similar interview to the Tony Schiavone one earlier in the show with Hangman Adam Page, who, of course, had a drink in his hand. I don't know what the appeal is of having Hangman Adam Page having a drink in his hand. It's not the cool factor of Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the 90s and the Attitude Era, having the beers and the beer baths that would go on in the ring after Raw would go off the air. I just seeing him with the glass with booze in it. It's very unappealing to me. It adds nothing to his athletic presentation. You'd think it would hurt. From a realistic point of view, storyline-wise, you'd think it would hurt his athleticism in the ring if he's going to be drinking before, sometimes during, and after the matches. Again, that's one man's opinion. It does not come off well to this pundit. Very good promo with Taz, Ricky Starks, and the FTW champion, Brian Cage. AEW is missing the boat on Ricky Starks. And you can say, Dan Marati, how could they be missing the boat on Ricky Starks if they have him in AEW? Well, you're not necessarily wrong. He was a great signee for AEW, but there's just this cockiness about him. He's just got this look. He is someone that should be groomed at as one of the future top-tier heels in AEW for a long time to come. Hopefully, they signed him to a long-term contract. I would have loved to have had him here in the MWF. I don't believe I've ever met the man. I'm not quite sure how tall he is, how thick he might be in person, but as far as being a cocky heel that is unlikable, he's absolutely perfect. As far as Brian Cage, I still do not know what the FTW Championship means, why it exists, why it's there, but at the end of the day, I still think Taz is one of the best promos in professional wrestling in 2020, which is about 20 years past his prime at this point. Taz gets out there, and whatever he says is believable. It's executed to perfection, and it helps both Ricky Starks and Brian Cage get over to a national audience that might not be all that familiar with who they are, which is very likely at this point. AEW is still a new national company. Cage and Ricky Starks weren't even with them from the beginning, so kudos to AEW. That was a very good grouping to have Taz with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. I'm not sure how they'll be featured on the pay-per-view tonight. If they'll be featured on the pay-per-view tonight, that remains to be seen. AEW tried to sell that Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks might not be able to be cleared to wrestle on the Full Gear pay-per-view tonight, and then they had a Young Bucks versus Private Party match. The 1997 DX Young Bucks come away with the win, even with Matt potentially unable to wrestle tonight. You had the FTR post-match attack. Adam Page runs out with the drink in his hand, almost like Eddie Murphy in The Golden Child, not trying to drop even the slightest bit of liquid from this cup as he ran out to the ring. Kenny Omega came out, and that was that. You have all the pairings headed into the Full Gear show tonight. Nyla Rose defeated Red Velvet. Good to see our friend Vicky Guerrero back. Not all that much interested in the latest incarnation of Brandy Rhodes as kind of the manager of Red Velvet or sidekick of Red Velvet. Brandy Rhodes has had so many different character presentations since AEW launched. None of them have been any good. I don't know why she's on the program other than the fact that she is, I guess, an executive with the company and the wife of Cody. She's a lovely lady. I'm sure a very nice human being. But as far as what she adds to a professional wrestling presentation in a positive way, there's zero. In the main event, you had Cody Rhodes and the Gun Club over the Dark Order. What a waste of Cody Rhodes in this one. Too many run-ins from the Dark Order. I have less than zero interest in that faction. Instead of giving them numbers 1, 2, 3, they should all be labeled in the negative column, because that's what most of them are. And to make matters worse, Orange Cassidy ran out. You had to have Orange out there, too. Cody put over Darby Allin for their title match tonight at the pay-per-view. Darby was sitting in the crowd a la Sting from the late 90s during the Monday Night Wars, the 96-97 Sting that didn't wrestle for over a year until his big clash with Hulk Hogan at Starrcade 97. A lot of the internet rumor sites would like you to think that Sting may get involved at Full Gear tonight, somehow helping Darby. I think that would be not such a good thing. I think Sting would overshadow Darby, both from a storyline point of view, and I think he'd physically overshadow Darby, where Sting is probably, I don't know about a foot taller than Darby, but quite a bit bigger. I don't think that would be the best physical presentation to have Sting and Darby Allin aligned at the hip. I'm sure it would get a great reaction, though, to have Sting at Daly's Place at Full Gear. Look at how quick we plow through these review shows when I don't have Mr. Socko here. I don't have the ratings information in front of me. He loves that for some reason. He loves to play the ratings game with me. I love to try and get it within 100,000 or so of what the actual rating is, but I guess we'll have to get back to that next week under normal times here in Boston Wrestling. I don't know. He's got that sore throat. We'll have to wait and see. And where we're not taping on Thursday, we don't even get the Quincy run-in. Overall, this wasn't a bad show at all. It built the matches for Full Gear Saturday, but I don't think it was one of the better AEW Dynamites. I give this week's AEW a respectable 6 out of 10. With that, I ask you, all of our fine friends in the premiere, those that may be watching after the fact, you can do so in the comment section below. But what did you think? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What did you think of the November 4th AEW Dynamite? As always, we look forward to your fan feedback. Right now, fans, we're going to take a very brief time out. Don't forget, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Cyber Toy Drive continues. 1 week from tonight, Tony Atlas will be live in studio. 2 weeks from this weekend, Marty Jannetty will be with us twice. Then we have, I think it's 8 guests, 8 brand new guests that are going to be joining us in December for live cyber autograph sessions. We're going to be doing television tapings for Wrestling Insiders for your viewing pleasure. So many awesome things going on Boston Wrestling, but we can't do it without your support. As always, the Super Chat button is open. If you think this pundit could use a drink, my dear Lord, please feel free, hit the Super Chat button. But more than anything, head on over to BostonWrestling.com, get a VIP package, get the autographs, win the big prizes we're going to have up for grabs. As always, Holiday Headlocks means a lot to us as we continue to honor the memory of the late, great Paul Bearer while trying to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's home in 2020 and put smiles on faces. Right now, quick timeout. When we come back, we look at WWE NXT. Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive is here. Coronavirus has been the Grinch in preventing a live wrestling event from taking place in 2020, but November and December will bring you an unbelievable series of live television tapings, raffles, merchandise, and cyber autograph signings, including 2 all-inclusive VIP packages you're not going to want to miss out on. We'll discuss a little later in this video. Let's take a look at this all-star lineup of superstars headed your way for the holiday season. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush, who's going to be co-hosting Wrestling Insider's Rush Hour, the miniseries, kicks off our 2020 efforts Thursday, November the 5th. Leo was the first to open his heart to our efforts to keep Paul Bearer's name alive and put smiles on kids' faces. Then on Saturday night, November the 14th, WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas will be with us again, signing autographs, meeting, greeting online, as well as having his renowned artwork available. Friday night, November the 20th, Sunday night, November the 22nd, during our Survivor Series watch-along, former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion Marty Jannetty will be with us live. When it comes to Marty, expect the unexpected. Early December explodes with brand new superstars coming to MWF Studios for the very first time on Friday night, December the 4th, during WWE SmackDown. Join former Intercontinental Champion and Nation of Domination member Savio Vega with rumors that the martial arts expert Kwang may join us as well. On Saturday, December the 5th, batten down the hatches, former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, will be live in studio for what should be an extremely memorable taping and cyber autograph signing. Great chance to get one of the top tag teams of the 80s and 90s together. Sunday, December the 6th, we're going to have an NXT TakeOver watch-along with WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Luke. From 1988 through 1996, Luke had a memorable run in WWE with a career spanning the globe since the 60s. Friday night, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in the history of professional wrestling, the Warlord, joins us in studio, looking back at his big run in the WWF from 1988 through 1992. Saturday night, December the 12th, join us for a rare appearance by a superstar that was undefeated in the WWF for nearly 2 years, Native American Tatanka. We cap it off Sunday, December the 13th, with one of the future stars of professional wrestling, having competed here in Boston Wrestling MWF, more recently in the Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament, Wheeler Yuta. John Cena Sr. is going to be taking part in a live cyber signing as well, and is working on recruiting even more superstars to join our efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house in 2020. You never know who or what to expect as we work our magic to create smiles on kids' faces around the globe, around the clock. VIP packages are available now. Early bird pricing through November the 15th. It's limited to 50 fans. The VIP Elite package, that comes with one autograph photo of all 11 featured superstars, plus a bonus Kwang autographed 8x10. It also includes an autographed Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive 2020 11x17 poster, and a raffle ticket to win a package of WWE NXT 11x14 autographed posters, thanks to our friends at NXT down in Orlando. We also have a standard VIP package that includes one autograph photo of each of our 11 featured superstars, plus a raffle ticket to win a limited edition Drew McIntyre, one of only 36 WrestleMania 36 autographed 8x10 photo from our friends at WWE. If you're not interested in an all-inclusive VIP package, don't worry. Each superstar will be available for individual autographs. A mail order is also available for your own personal items. Don't worry, if you can't join us for all of the live cyber autograph signings that are going to be streaming online, your 8x10 photo will still be signed and mailed to your home. If you get a VIP package after a superstar's signing is already taking place, again, don't worry, they're going to sign plenty for the entire holiday season. Those that purchase individual photos, they'll be shipped right after the signing takes place. The VIP packages will be shipped in one giant package beginning December the 14th. We continue to miss the late, great Paul Bearer each and every day. His heart of gold continues to shine with our annual Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive efforts, and this year, again, will be no exception. 2020, it's been a rough year for all of us, but get ready for a season of Boston wrestling sports memories and legends while putting smiles on kids' faces. In December, that's what it's all about. VIP packages and individual autographs are available now at bostonwrestling.com. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. A few days late, but better late than never. I have no co-host this week. One has a sore throat, one has a hobby, so it's just me, which I guess means it's going to be a little bit quicker of a show. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the editing process, because believe me, there's a lot of editing that goes into this, even podcast style. Let's take a look at WWE NXT from Wednesday night, November the 4th, the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. In the opening contest, in a bit of an upset, you saw Dakota Kai with the victory over Ember Moon. Not much to write home about. I was glad to see a female referee for a women's match. Beth Phoenix's lousy commentary that she continues to do at home instead of coming back to work really killed this one for my enjoyment. It would have been better on mute. Certainly AEW had the better opening contest this week. Moon jumped out of the ring. Kai moved out of the way. She crashed into the barricades, and both wrestlers appeared knocked out. Instead of letting the fans see if this match might end in a count-out, a double count-out, they go to a commercial break. That is a pet peeve of mine that drives me crazy on every WWE program because they just can't get away from doing it. If the match can't end on a count-out, why bother to have count-out possibilities as a finish? I don't know. Different story for a different time. It's another small attention to detail that fans can pick up on, and it makes sure that nobody cares in those situations. If no one ever loses via countout when they're hurting outside the ring during a commercial break, how do the announcers sell it with any credibility? The answer is they can't. Two ladies tried, but this one was eternally too long. It went on forever. And again, I felt like we had an upset here with Dakota Kai coming away from the victory. What about Leilani Kai, a lady that belongs in the WWE Hall of Fame for everything she did for the World Wrestling Federation in the mid-1980s? Boom. Kushida, Cameron Grimes was up next. Grimes just doesn't look like he belongs in any WWE ring, no matter what the brand at this point. He doesn't look like an athlete. He doesn't look like a wrestler. He's a kind of a goofy character. His promos aren't all that good. He just doesn't do it for me. Nothing against the man. I don't know him. But as far as this presentation goes, it's just, yeah. Oh, as the match went on, they started with the zombie referee nonsense from the haunted house match they had during Halloween Havoc. Grimes started to run from the referee. It was absurd. Certainly wasn't an enhancement match, but it was a nice win for Kushida, someone that is being groomed for the future of NXT and is certainly a world-class athlete. Killian Dane, Drake Maverick, and Everrise. I don't know if they'd label that a double DQ, a no contest. Another week of the uninteresting Dane and Maverick pairing. Certainly a waste of Killian Dane, who I could see as a badass on any brand in the company. Drake Maverick has zero credibility. He started from being a wrestler to a general manager to a wrestling manager that pissed his pants to being a GM and a wrestling manager at the same time on different brands, back to being a wrestler, to being a fired wrestler during the coronavirus cuts, to a re-signed wrestler that really doesn't do anything of any great interest. Am I missing anything special about Drake Maverick, fans? If I am, tell me. I'm interested in your thoughts. We can discuss this respectfully. It doesn't make me a bad person because I don't enjoy his work. From what I've been told by mutual friends, Drake Maverick is a pretty good guy. I just don't enjoy the wrestling presentation of him. The Pat McAfee faction drove into the parking lot as this was going on. Then they ran into the building, took over the match, even took over a camera, almost like we had a retribution without masks. If nothing else, it ended the match, which wasn't a bad thing. I have to say this, I may not be a great Pat McAfee fan, but this work has certainly enhanced Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch especially, and even led to a nice return for Pete Dunne. After the commercial break, there was a Pat McAfee faction promo where they burned an Undisputed Era promo, flag, I'm sorry. Certainly this didn't get the heat that Sergeant Slaughter did back in the early 90s when he was burning flags, but that's a different story for a different time. When they were leaving the building, Killian Dane attempted to attack the four of them in the parking lot, but as you can imagine, 4-on-1, that didn't do good for Killian as the faction drove off. We had more Gargano family comedy nonsense. I didn't find all that amusing. He was playing a board game this week at home. He got a phone call as the character dressed from the Scream movie just sat at his kitchen table. Up next, he had Toni Storm over Shotzi Blackheart. She had no tank this week, so I thought this must have been a very important match to Shotzi, but there was more to come on that. Solid effort by both ladies. Then Candice LeRae somehow was able to pop up on the video screen, and she had the Blackheart tank with her in the middle of a road, almost like what Alberto Del Rio was threatening to do to that woman's kid. That's a different story for a different time. You'll have to check the Wrestling Insider archives for that one. I thought this was pretty stupid. Candace somehow took over the video screen again a little bit later on and ran over the tank, a child's toy tank on a professional wrestling program where they're looking to increase the 18 to 49-year-old male demographic. A Scream mask was in the back of Candice LeRae's Hummer as well. Did the 18 to 49-year-olds, did they get a chuckle out of any of that? I don't know. I'm not Mr. Giuseppe Scoops down in southwestern Connecticut with all the news and notes on the ratings. I can only go by my two eyes and my brain. Timothy Thatcher did another one of those interesting wrestling lessons. I thought the first one was very effective. He did a better job at getting moves over and their impact than wrestling commentators do. This exhibition was too much for the enhancement talent he had working with him in question. Then the renamed former AG Anthony Green, now Austin Gray, came out and attacked Thatcher. The name Austin Gray certainly does not have superstar written on it, but fortunately, I have the feeling that AG will do everything he can to make every opportunity he has a success, which is what I hope he finds. Xia Li got another mystery letter hand-delivered by William Regal, almost as if the general manager of SmackDown was a mailman. Then Xia said she had to challenge Raquel Gonzalez next week. Regal said she'd make the match. In the main event, the newly masked Tommaso Ciampa looked like $1 million as always, facing one of the biggest pieces of garbage in professional wrestling in the Velveteen Dream. I don't know if the online Instagram accusations against Velveteen are true or not, because if they're false, as much as I don't personally like him, it's wrong that he's being accused by this. If they are true, he should be out of the business. But Instagram messages aside, he's just a human piece of garbage. Ciampa used wrestling logic trying to rip the cast off of the injured Velveteen Dream. Ciampa smashed it on the announce table, as a WWE wrestling program on any brand cannot resist using the announcer's table at least once during an episode. Tommaso kind of reminded me of a 1996 Steve Austin before he fully became engulfed in the Stone Cold Steve Austin persona here. When Velveteen Dream had the offense later on, he wasn't selling the hand in the cast, which almost made the match seem backwards to me. It should have seemed like Velveteen should have had the offense early, with Ciampa making the comeback and injuring the cast. Velveteen's punches are always, to be kind, very awkward looking, if not bad. Bad. Ciampa hit the finish for the pin. Good showing from both men on this one. I give the November 4th WWE NXT a borderline 7 out of 10. Thought it was a good show, some good matches. I thought there were too many women. I had more than enough of Drake Maverick, but it continued to build feuds and angles, and the key parts of the show were pretty good. Again, I ask you fans, what did you think? As always, give us a 1 to 10 on the live premiere, or you can leave it in the comment section below if you're listening to this after the Saturday night premiere. Again, fans, before we go, let's update you on the news we have here in the world of Boston Wrestling MWF. WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas is expected to be back in studio live this coming Saturday night, November the 14th, for a live cyber signing, an art show. Hopefully, we'll get our hands on some of his books, but I haven't heard back from the book publisher yet, which has pissed me off a little bit. But 2 weeks from now, Marty Jannetty will be with us for an entire weekend, dear Lord, with live cyber signings both Friday, November 20th, and during Survivor Series, Sunday, November the 22nd, as we support our mission to honor Paul Bearer and update Santa's GPS to find every kid's house this Christmas. We have a plethora of new guests joining us for TV tapings and cyber signings in December. Again, we implore you, check out bostonwrestling.com. VIP packages are still available. No matter when you order the VIP package, even if you've missed some of the live cyber signings, the superstars in questions are going to sign photos that will be included in those packages. So you'll still get everybody included in the offering, even if you missed the live version, which is a really cool thing. Fans, if you want an early, full-screen, ad-free experience to our Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interview weekly series, access to our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD library with some of wrestling's greatest legends, and help keep those wrestling legends that have been out of work for 7 or 8 months now working, then for the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Over 100 videos for your viewing pleasure. You'll never have the wrestling blues this winter with your friends here at Boston Wrestling. With the holidays coming, our eBay store is open for business. My buddy Leo Rush and I made some promotional videos for you guys to check out of some of the goods you'll be seeing across our social media platforms. Purchasing great, rare autographed wrestling memorabilia from us helps in 2 ways. Aside from growing your own personal wrestling collection, you help us produce these programs for you to enjoy, which keeps the legends working. And at this time of year, every purchase helps our Paul Bearer Cyber Toy Drive as well. The link to our eBay store can be found on bostonwrestling.com and in the description box below. Finally, fans, we have our WWE T-shirt bundle fundraiser going on right now over at bostonwrestling.com/shirts.html, where for the regular price of a shirt on WWE Shop, we'll not only give you the shirt, but a WWE cup, but a mystery autograph photo, and an on-air shout-out from Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders, thanking you for helping us being able to keep him and so many other great wrestling legends working. It's such a positive thing beyond just making a simple T-shirt purchase. Again, fans, enjoy all of our great content until our next premiere, which should be Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for our weekly Raw review. And then at 10 p.m. is Tony Atlas is back for Wrestling Insiders. Have a great weekend. You and yours, be well, stay healthy. Good night. Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive is here. Coronavirus has been the Grinch in preventing a live wrestling event from taking place in 2020, but November and December will bring you an unbelievable series of live television tapings, raffles, merchandise, and cyber autograph signings, including 2 all-inclusive VIP packages you're not going to want to miss out on. We'll discuss a little later in this video. Let's take a look at this all-star lineup of superstars headed your way for the holiday season. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush, who's going to be co-hosting Wrestling Insider's Rush Hour, the miniseries, kicks off our 2020 efforts Thursday, November the 5th. Leo was the first to open his heart to our efforts to keep Paul Bearer's name alive and put smiles on kids' faces. Then on Saturday night, November the 14th, WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas will be with us again, signing autographs, meeting, greeting online, as well as having his renowned artwork available. Friday night, November the 20th, Sunday night, November the 22nd, during our Survivor Series watch-along, former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion Marty Jannetty will be with us live. When it comes to Marty, expect the unexpected. Early December explodes with brand new superstars coming to MWF Studios for the very first time on Friday night, December the 4th, during WWE SmackDown. Join former Intercontinental Champion and Nation of Domination member Savio Vega, with rumors that the martial arts expert Kwang may join us as well. On Saturday, December the 5th, batten down the hatches, former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, will be live in studio for which should be an extremely memorable taping and cyber autograph signing. Great chance to get one of the top tag teams of the 80s and 90s together. Sunday, December the 6th, we're going to have an NXT TakeOver watch-along with WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Luke. From 1988 through 1996, Luke had a memorable run in WWE with a career spanning the globe since the 60s. Friday night, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in the history of professional wrestling, the Warlord, joins us in studio, looking back at his big run in the WWF from 1988 through 1992. Saturday night, December the 12th, join us for a rare appearance by a superstar that was undefeated in the WWF for nearly 2 years, Native American Tatanka. We cap it off Sunday, December the 13th with one of the future stars of professional wrestling, having competed here in Boston Wrestling MWF, more recently in the Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament, Wheeler Yuta. John Cena Sr. is going to be taking part in a live cyber signing as well and is working on recruiting even more superstars to join our efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house in 2020. You never know who or what to expect as we work our magic to create smiles on kids' faces around the globe, around the clock. VIP packages are available now. Early bird pricing through November the 15th. It's limited to 50 fans. The VIP Elite package, that comes with one autograph photo of all 11 featured superstars, plus a bonus Quang autographed 8x10. It also includes an autographed Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive 2020 11x17 poster, and a raffle ticket to win a package of WWE NXT 11x14 autographed posters, thanks to our friends at NXT down in Orlando. We also have a standard VIP package that includes one autographed photo of each of our 11 featured superstars, plus a raffle ticket to win a limited edition Drew McIntyre, one of only 36 WrestleMania 36 autographed 8x10 photo from our friends at WWE. If you're not interested in an all-inclusive VIP package, don't worry. Each superstar will be available for individual autographs. A mail order is also available for your own personal items. Don't worry, if you can't join us for all of the live cyber autograph signings that are going to be streaming online, your 8x10 photo will still be signed and mailed to your home. If you get a VIP package after a superstar's signing is already taking place, again, don't worry, they're going to sign plenty for the entire holiday season. Those that purchase individual photos, they'll be shipped right after the signing takes place. The VIP packages will be shipped in one giant package beginning December the 14th. We continue to miss the late, great Paul Bearer each and every day. His heart of gold continues to shine with our annual Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive efforts, and this year, again, will be no exception. 2020, it's been a rough year for all of us, but get ready for a season of Boston wrestling sports memories and legends while putting smiles on kids' faces. In December, that's what it's all about. VIP packages and individual autographs are available now at bostonwrestling.com.